Chapter 113. As soon as the three of them sat down, they immediately became the center of attention. A man with a pair of beautiful twins was simply inhumane. They were so beautiful that there was no bottom line. Qin Yutong picked up the menu, and muttered, "The shop owner of this shop is selling top-grade beef rolls, shrimp sliders, and tripe. Just listening to it is enough to make one drool. Just order whatever you want, big sister will treat you." Qin Yo was very generous. In any case, she could be considered as someone who was poor to the point that she only had money left. Qin Yutong rolled her eyes at her big sister. "Even if I were to eat here for my entire life, I still wouldn't be able to finish spending your money. Yutong, you've already taken your photo. If you still plan to stay at your brother-in-law's place, you'll have to pay for your living expenses." "Big sister, why are you the same as brother-in-law? Both of you are so stingy." Qin Yutong pouted her small mouth and said, "Even though you have so much money, you still want to collect living expenses." Yi Hua was unjustly implicated. "When have I been petty? You still say you're not stingy. Brother-in-law, why don't you take out the meat from that day and eat it? You can only eat it once a week." Yi Hua said faintly. "I don't want to eat it once a week. I want to eat it every day." When the customers that were sitting around heard Qin Yutong's complaint, they almost wanted to flip the table. "I can't endure it." Her sister-in-law wanted meat, but her brother-in-law said that he would only allow it once a week. Her sister-in-law was not happy and wanted it every day. The main point was that the older sister was smiling without saying a word. How could she mess around like this? F***ck, where are my Italian cannons? Bombard this affectionate couple. Yi Hua said faintly, not giving. As expected. The sound of chopsticks breaking resounded around them. His sister-in-law was not satisfied, but as her brother-in-law, he refused to give it to her. "Let go of sister-in-law and let me do it." Although she was angry, especially when she saw the indifferent look on that man's face, she felt that he was simply inhumane. How could a person resist the temptation of such a beautiful sister-in-law? In actuality, Yi Hua felt that after being hugged by a woman like Qin to sleep every day, he would naturally become immune to it. Some people did not win at the starting line, but directly appeared at the finishing line. Right when the three of them were waiting for the dishes to be served, a boy suddenly ran in and found a table that was not far away from Yi Hua, and that table just happened to be occupied by a man and a woman. Qin Yutong said sneakily, "I think this boy is definitely here to catch adultery." "How did you know?" Yi Hua asked faintly. Qin Yutong pointed outside. "Just now, I saw him riding a bicycle over." Just when Qin Yutong finished speaking, the voice of a boy could be heard from the other side. "You. Why did you do this to me? I used a bicycle to pick you up for 3 years. This man will pick you up in a Bentley for 3 days. You want to break up with me? Are you worthy of me?" The girl said apologetically, "I'm sorry, actually, when he came to pick me up on the first day, I was all ready." The man clutched his chest and retreated weakly. He didn't expect that he had overestimated himself. It turned out that he didn't need 3 days. 1 day was enough. After witnessing everything, Yi Hua said faintly, "Snow White told us one thing, 7 shits are not comparable to a kiss from a tall, rich and handsome man." Qin rolled her eyes at Yi Hua. Humph, what should I say then? It can only mean that you have good eyesight." Yi Hua said with a faint smile. "Narcissistic. Brother-in-law, you have also watched Snow White before." Upon hearing about cartoons, Qin Yutong became interested. Yi Hua said faintly, "I have. It was too realistic, so I didn't watch it a second time." Bang! Just as Yi Hua was about to discuss about Snow White's plot with Qin Yutong, that boy was knocked onto the ground by a punch from the tall, rich and handsome man, and that girl just couldn't bear to watch on and looked outside the window. "Yi Hua, that boy is so pitiful." Yi Hua took a look. Weaklings are not worthy of sympathy. If the boy who fell onto the ground fought back, Yihua would still feel that this boy was not bad, but he didn't. He just covered his face and used his gaze to kill the boy without moving. Qinya, put away your sympathy. Yihua began his lesson. Qinya snorted, why don't you have any sympathy at all? Did you stew that dog of yours? I wanted to stew it a long time ago. Yihua said faintly. It's just that when a bone dragon is stewed, it really doesn't taste good. Suddenly, Qin Yutong slammed onto the table, startling Yihua and Qinya. Qin Yutong could be seen standing up with a righteous look, pointing at the rich second generation and shouted, how can you hit someone? Even if he is uglier than you. But hitting someone is also wrong. The corner of Yihua's mouth twitched, and Qinya directly covered her face. Are you going to help someone, or are you going to hit someone when they are down? Master is being an idiot again. Yutong, what are you doing? Sit down. Qinya persuaded, fearing that her little sister would cause trouble. Qin Yutong snorted, big sister, you don't have to persuade me, helping the weak is everyone's responsibility. The boy who fell onto the ground originally didn't feel that it was shameful, but after being scolded by Qin Yutong, he immediately felt his face getting hot, wishing that he could find a hole to hide in. Yihua said, all right, if Yutong wants to act cool, then just let her go. You. It's fine if you don't care about it, but you even allowed her to act recklessly. Chapter 114. Not only the girl, everyone who heard it was stupefied as well. So it wasn't a problem of money, but rather, it was really short. The boy couldn't take it anymore and shed tears of regret. This is even more painful than breaking up. I thought that she is vain, but it turns out that she doesn't, she just dislikes me, and even said it out. Qin Yutong seemed to know something and was a bit embarrassed as she said while stammering, about that. You don't have to be too discouraged. Think about those men who suffered from erectile dysfunction. Do you feel better after thinking about it? Immediately, the faces of a few middle-aged men in the hall stiffened. The boy seemed as if he was struck by lightning. His girlfriend ran away with a rich second generation, and furthermore, it wasn't for money. This is a shame for a man, and he was even exposed by a kind-hearted beauty. I originally thought that I was desperate enough, but I didn't expect that I underestimated despair. The boy covered his face and ran away desperately. This time, he was even more injured than when he just came in. Sorry for disturbing you. Qin Yutong turned around and left. Originally, I still wanted to stand up for the boy, but in the end, the boy had a hardware problem. This is too miserable. The tall, rich and handsome smiled and did not plan to pursue the matter, appearing like a gentleman. Returning back to her seat, Qin Yutong's pretty face was slightly red. She was extremely beautiful, but this kind of beauty carried a bit of foolishness. Qinya was different, her beauty was noble. Now you know how to be embarrassed, you also have to worry about other people's family matters. Qinya reprimanded. Qin Yutong pouted her cherry lips, I am just helping out when I see injustice. You are just stabbing at the back when you see injustice. Yihua added a sentence. What Yihua said is right, can you change your foolish temperament? Qinya poked her little sister's forehead unhappily, and the latter touched her forehead pitifully. Humph, in any case, the two of you are just joining hands to bully me, this single dog. Qin Yutong could only vent her anger on the food, as if she had not eaten for a few days, causing the surrounding people to be stupefied. A beauty is a beauty, even if it is this kind of crazy eating, there is still another kind of beauty, bold and unrestrained. Qinya was different, she was noble and elegant, and she even had to help Yihua to wash the hot pot, as if this had already become a habit, and Yihua only had to pick up the food that Qinya passed to him. Not bad, not bad. Qinya still did not deviate from her own wishes. While the three of them were eating hot pot, the surrounding customers left one batch after another, and then another batch came. Just that, this batch of customers made Yihua and Qin Yutong feel a bit curious. Why did so many cultivators suddenly appear? Or could it be said that they are espers, or could it be said that they are ancient martial artists? Who knows? In any case, in Yihua's eyes, they are nothing more than humans. They were just humans of a slightly higher level. Sitting next to him were 4 middle-aged men who were chatting animatedly. I heard that many sect disciples from the south have come to Long and City. It's not just the sect disciples. The ancient martial families, the special ability world, and the cultivation world will all be here in the next 2 days. I wonder if the North will intervene this time. If they do, it will be another bloody battle. How dare the Northerners? The last time an ancient godly item appeared, we didn't even intervene. How would small characters like us know about the inside story? Perhaps you wouldn't even know if we interfered. Ancient godly item, just the name alone makes me excited. I wonder if it will be a weapon, an equipment, or a magic tool. Do you guys know? I heard that Xiao Yi had a narrow victory last night, and it was even under the situation where he took out Xin Yuan's sword. The scene of the battle was just like Doomsday. I wonder who Xiao family's family head provoked to actually be so tyrannical. Fortunately, Xiao Yi wasn't killed. If not, the North would be in chaos. I also heard that Nangong Sini announced that she would stay at home to recuperate, and the few companies under the Dragon God Corporation were even transferred. This was told to me by one of my higher-ups. There is definitely some kind of shocking secret within. Sigh, the world of the rich is still not like that. Xiao family's family head is having fun every day. Do you think that just because you have money, you will be as happy as you imagined? No, you are wrong. The happiness of the rich is something that you simply cannot imagine. When Yihua, Qingye, and Qing Yutong heard what Xiao Yi said, they felt that it was very reasonable. You all simply cannot imagine. The world of the rich is to order takeout every day and eat chicken when you wake up. However, this was the first time that Qing Yutong heard of this matter, and with a face filled with curiosity, she asked, "Brother-in-law, did Xiao Yi really pay back the money?" "Ask your big sister." "Big sister, what happened?" "I just went out, and such a big thing happened?" Qing Yutong asked anxiously. For a person like Xiao Yi to pay back the money, does he not want his face anymore? Qingye said faintly, he paid back the money with 3 companies. Wow! Brother-in-law, you are awesome. Qing Yutong exclaimed in admiration. In the past, people like Xiao Yi would often act cool and bully people, and I didn't expect that he would fall into the hands of her brother-in-law. Yihua picked up the piece of beef that Qingye passed over. It's just a small matter. Brother-in-law, you are acting cool again. Tell me about the process. You didn't even ask me to go and check the accounts. You are not a good friend. Yihua said faintly, small matters like checking accounts can be left to the servants. Qingye and Qing Yutong took a look at each other, acting cool again. Yihua, is the ancient godly item that they are talking about the treasure that they talked about last time? Ah! Big sister, what treasure are you talking about? Why are you all hiding it from me and not bringing me along to play? Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth, just like a little child. In actuality, Yihua was also a bit curious about the ancient godly item. After all, Yihua had a hobby of collecting things, and inside the ring on his finger, there were a lot of weapons and equipment, and they were all spoils of war that Yihua collected. However, if Yihua were to know about the might of Xin Yuan's sword, he would rather stay at home and watch the movie. Do you want to go and take a look? Yihua asked faintly. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yihua thought for a while. Let's treat it as a field trip then. Wow, such a big matter, brother-in-law, you actually treat it as a field trip. Your acting cool is not bad. Qing Yutong smiled cutely. Yihua couldn't help but stretch out his hand and knocked on Qing Yutong's head, impudent. Brother-in-law, it hurts. Qing Yutong rubbed her head and said pitifully. Chinya smiled sweetly. Serves you right, for daring to tease your brother-in-law when he is acting cool. Bang Qing Yutong immediately laughed. Ha, you are still teasing me, brother-in-law, well done. Yi Hua. Just you wait. What are you waiting for? Quickly go and settle the bill, let's go home. Humph. The surrounding men looked at Yi Hua, then looked at the tigress in front of them. Other people's wives and sisters-in-law sure are good, I can casually beat them up, and after beating them up, they can even act coquettishly. However, those are all other people's wives. After dinner, the three of them took a stroll on the street, and Qing Yutong even bought some small accessories and wore them happily. Chapter 115. Returning back to Leisure Bar, it was already around 10 p.m. However, right after walking into the bar, Yihua felt that the business today was pretty good. The bar was almost full, just that most of the people that were sitting in the bar were men, and there were very few women. You two go up first. Yihua said faintly. Brother-in-law, what are you doing? Bring me along to play. Chinya pulled onto her little sister and said disdainfully, what else can he do? He is just acting cool. Let's go and eat chicken. Let's see if little Ali is online or not. Little Ali is much more reliable than him. Hearing that his own woman was talking about little Ali again, Yihua's mood immediately became bad again. Being brought along to eat chicken by a child, that is because you all don't know, the moment I release my strength, even I will be afraid. And right now, I am only playing with the physique of an ordinary human, I feel disdain to go and cheat. Little Ali is definitely cheating, if it was my child, would definitely smack his butt. You are still cheating when playing with humans, shame on you. Walking into the bar counter, under everyone's peculiar gaze, Yihua mixed a cup of pitch-black alcohol that looked like cola. Alright, in actuality, it is just cola, the difference is that it has alcohol in it. Holding on to the special cola, Yihua sat on the empty seat at the side and sized up everyone. It was very obvious that these people were not ordinary people. Your Honor. Wei Chang walked over slowly. Call Lai Gu over, I have something to say. Yes. 5 seconds later, a handsome guy who was wearing a school uniform walked in from the door. His face was brimming with a strong sense of confidence, but after seeing Yihua, his confidence immediately turned into a smile. Your Honor, Lai Gu called out. Yihua sized up Lai Gu, then said with a frown, what have you been doing recently? Subordinate is following your Honor's orders to experience human nature, and reading is also a very good way to experience human nature. Lai Gu said in a small voice, his confidence was a little lacking. Wei Chang added, Lai Gu only went to school to expand his harem. Gluttonous monster, that's where you're wrong. I'm in a serious relationship, okay? Wei Chang laughed lightly. Just a few days after entering school, you started fighting and snatching women. As your father, I am having a headache. What do you mean? Yihua asked curiously. Wei Chang said, Your Honor, Lai Gu started fighting right after entering school. Doesn't that mean that we need to call his parents? Subordinate and Xiao Tang just so happened to be on a date, so Subordinate went to pretend to be Lai Gu's parents. Ha! Yihua laughed out loud. Lai Gu said angrily, I swear, I will quit school tomorrow, it's boring. Yihua coughed lightly, it's up to you. However, what I want to say is that after a few days, everyone should go out and have a walk together. It has already been 5 years, and we have yet to go out together. Thinking back to the past, Wei Chang and Lai Gu's expression changed. They knew that his honor was thinking about the time in the past. Back then, the 8 of them had traveled all over the world, and the notoriety that they made shook the entire world. Back then, his honor had been holed up in this small leisure bar for 5 years, and back then, he didn't even leave the leisure bar at all. After Madam came, his honor had left the leisure bar a lot more times, and right now, he even had the thought of going out together with us. Your Honor, In actuality, both Wei Chang and Lai Gu understood that his honor definitely missed the other 5 sins a lot. In actuality, it wasn't that his honor didn't want to look for the other 5 sins, rather, he was afraid that his honor would be disappointed if he found them. Yihua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. Recently, there are a lot of people in Long and City, and all of them are here for the sake of buying ancient godly items. On one hand, this trip is to relax, and on the other hand, this trip is also to take a look at what kind of thing an ancient godly item is. A hint of coldness appeared on Lai Gu's face. Your Honor, this time, since they have gathered together, how about we take them all out at once? Wei Chang stretched out his hand and knocked on Lai Gu's head. Do you think that his honor is still the same as before? Subordinate knows his mistake. Yihua picked up the wine cup and took a sip, then said faintly, rather than us taking them all out at once, we might as well let them kill each other. Your honor is wise. Your honor is wise. Wei Chang and Lai Gu thought of a problem at the same time. If his honor had this kind of brain back then, how could he have possibly been exterminated? He would have long toyed with the humans in the palm of his hand. Bang! The sound of a wine bottle shattering suddenly rang out, and a burly man could be seen standing up and shouting out, "Fuck, what kind of bullshit music is this? Give me an explosive one." Yihua silently looked towards the table, then stood up and said faintly, "The 2 of you settle this, all of you are here to test the waters, don't be too ruthless, if you are too ruthless, you won't be able to play anymore in the future." Yes. Yes. Yihua unhurriedly walked towards the table. Just when he walked in, he felt that something was amiss. Thinking back to what happened last night, I reckon that these people were sent by some humans to test the waters. Since that's the case, let's have some fun then. Rather than killing people, I might as well look at the other party's astonished gaze or look of disbelief. This was a kind of sublimation. Yihua's hands were already stained with the blood of countless humans, and killing people was no longer able to bring joy to his heart. Toying with the other party, then admiring the other party's astonished expression, that kind of feeling was able to cause a slight ripple to surface in Yihua's heart. No matter if it was Xiao Yi or Long Outyan, Yihua was waiting for them to grow. When they felt that they had the strength, only then would they realize that despair had just begun. Wei Chang and Lai Gu looked at his honor's imposing back view and couldn't help but feel worship. His honor is becoming more and more like a human. I believe that not long from now, his honor will gather the 7 deadly sins and kill his way back. Toying with those conceited overlords in the palm of his hand, this feeling is much more satisfying than killing them. Gluttonous monster, how about we compete? Wei Chang laughed. What do you want to compete? Don't humans like to act cool? Let us compete and see who is better at acting cool. Lai Gu grinned, revealing his spotlessly white teeth. Sure, but do not disrupt his honor's plan. If everyone is afraid of us, his honor is going to stew you. Lai Gu scratched the back of his head. His honor has said this sentence for a few hundred years. There is only thunder and no rain. Oh. Then, how about I help you pass on the message? I was just joking. Look at you, you actually took it seriously. TSK tisk TSK. Leisure Bar was a bit chaotic right now, and some of the security guards went over to stop them. However, how could they be a match for the security guards? In an instant, they were all knocked onto the ground. Those who are not important, scram out of here. If not, bear the consequences yourself. The burly man shouted out arrogantly. This shout of his was indeed effective. All of the ordinary people ran out of the bar, but there were still half of the people who didn't leave. The burly man didn't go and shout out. Seems like he still had some idea of what was going on. Oi! How can you be like this? This is Leisure Bar, right? If you want to go to the disco, go to another bar. Tang Wei could be seen suddenly rushing out, standing in front of the burly man and questioning him. The burly man was 2 meters tall, while Tang Wei was only 1.65 meters tall. the sharp contrast made others feel that Tang Wei was just like a little doll. Gluttonous monster, this girlfriend of yours has quite a personality. Lai Gu rubbed onto Wei Chang's shoulder and said with a smile. Wei Chang looked at his girlfriend and said with a smile, Xiao Tang indeed has quite a personality. Although she looks soft and weak on the surface, she has courage on the inside. That girlfriend of yours is about to be bullied, why aren't you, as her boyfriend, doing anything? Lai Gu asked curiously. Wei Chang looked at the beautiful figure on the stage, and black light flickered within his eyes. Right now, Xiao Tang is no longer considered as a human. F***K, gluttonous monster, you are so perverted. Aren't those 3 celebrities of yours the same? They were nourished by your dragon aura. Wei Chang teased. Lai Gu spread out his hands. What can I do? These are all side effects. I will just treat it as nurturing 3 subordinates who can fight and warm the bed. After all, His Honor is currently on vacation. That's true. When His Honor finishes his vacation, the bloody moment will arrive. Chapter 116. The burly man looked at Tang Wei who was in front of him and revealed an evil smile. He stretched out his dirty hand, wanting to touch Tang Wei's face. That tender and pure white skin would definitely be very pleasurable to touch. The burly man's 3 friends revealed a playful smile. Taking liberties with beauties was something that they often did, especially this pure beauty. Just now, there were even 2 super beauties that went up, perhaps they could take liberties with her. However, this time, they took liberties with the wrong person. If it was the previous Tang Wei, she would definitely be taken liberties with. However, the current Tang Wei was Wei Chang's girlfriend. Her status was rising up by sitting on a star-class aircraft carrier. Furthermore, her primordial spirit that was processed by Wei Chang was also injected into her body. Not mentioning anything else, Tang Wei's current strength was enough to exchange blows with Death Mage. Looking at those dirty big hands, Tang Wei used her hands to block them out of conditioned reflex, and it was even the kind where her eyes were closed. The entire place instantly became quiet. Even if a thin needle were to drop onto the ground, one would be able to hear it. Tang Wei closed her eyes. There was no disgusting touch coming from her face. She carefully opened her eyes and discovered that everyone was looking at her dumbfoundedly. Tang Wei immediately became muddle-headed. The burly man that was in front of her just now had already disappeared. Tang Wei was very puzzled. Could it be that he ran away? The burly man's other 3 friends came back to their senses, and one of them shouted out, "Brothers, attack!" Tang Wei's expression was panicked as she took a step back, but the 3 burly men were already closing in on her. Ah! Tang Wei let out an ear-piercing scream. All of the glass cups shattered. The expressions of the 3 burly men congealed. Blood appeared on their ears. They were obviously injured, but they still attacked towards the weak Tang Wei. After screaming, Tang Wei closed her eyes and started punching and kicking, just like how a girl would punch the air when she saw a ghost. The entire place became quiet again, and some people started discussing in low voices. If I didn't see wrongly, could it be that those 4 burly men just now were the Jiangnan 4 marshals? It seems to be true. I heard that their strength is not bad. How did they get sent flying by a girl? This shop sure is mysterious. Could it be that this girl is the black-robed man that fought with Xiao Yi last night? Big brother, don't say any more, I'm scared. Lai Gu sighed. Gluttonous monster, you should at least teach your girlfriend some moves. This is too embarrassing. I feel that Tang Wei's fist technique was executed beautifully. Wei Chang smiled faintly and slowly walked forward. Coming to Tang Wei's side, Wei Chang patted the startled Tang Wei. Unexpectedly, Tang Wei threw a punch with a backhand, and Wei Chang easily caught it. Little Tang, it's me. Ah! Uncle Wei. Tang Wei immediately pounced into Wei Chang's embrace. She was scared to death. The 4 handsome generals of Jiangnan expressed that they were the ones who were scared to death. You murderer. Wei Chang lightly caressed Tang Wei's back. All right, don't be afraid. Uncle Wei, was I very violent just now? The people around him sucked in a cold breath. Dare I ask, miss, if this isn't violence, then what is? He's been beaten into the wall by you and can't be pulled out. He's stuck. Wei Chang comforted him, it's not violent at all. Go and take the waiters away. Let's get off work early today. Oh, all right. Not long later, the security guards and waiters of the bar all left. Lai Gu leaned on the bar counter and looked at Wei Chang's performance. Wei Chang looked at the 20-odd people present and asked, "Are you all here to cause trouble?" Everyone remained silent. Just now, you easily caught that girl's fist. Right now, who would dare to say that we are here to cause trouble? Looking around, everyone was sitting perfectly straight. I reckon that when they were studying, they didn't even sit so straight, so serious, and so afraid. After all, these people were all small fries, and the reason why they were sent here was just to probe. However, none of them wanted to be stuck inside the wall. Lai Gu shook his head helplessly. What is there to play? A bunch of grown men are just like elementary school students. Lai Gu shouted coldly, "Who asked you all to come? Let them come and get the girl. If not, don't even think about seeing tomorrow's sun." What if it rains tomorrow? Wei Chang turned his head around and asked. Lai Gu went into a daze. This is truly a problem. What do you think we should do? How about we just say that we shouldn't expect to see tomorrow's sun and rain? Wei Chang suggested. Lai Gu slightly frowned. Then, what if tomorrow is cloudy? Everyone, then don't wait until tomorrow, it's too troublesome. How about 1 hour later? Wei Chang said. That's not a bad idea. The 20+ people who were sitting were all stupefied. Big brother, what are you all doing? We agreed to wait until tomorrow. Why did you all change your mind? Who cares if tomorrow is rainy or cloudy? We are people from Cloud Sect. We are people from Traceless Pavilion. You dare to try and touch us? We are people from Loud Thunder Sect. If you are sensible, then let us go. We are people from Dry Zen Sect. We want to go home. We are people from South Alliance. We forgot to turn off the gas in our house. If there is a fire, can you take responsibility? The people from Cloud Sect were very good at stirring up the atmosphere, and in an instant, the atmosphere became heated up. If you don't let us go home, we will die in front of you. Wei Chang took a deep breath. You over there, where is your house? I will call the fire department for you. There is no need to worry. If you all want to go home, you all need your parents to come and get you. If not, you all will die. Wei Chang continued. Lai Gu placed both of his hands into his pockets and walked to the middle of the room, then said, If you all don't recognize me as your boss, I will teach you all how to comb your hair in the middle. After finished speaking, Lai Gu even touched his hair. His hairstyle mustn't be messed up. The 20+ people below were about to collapse. Just what kind of weirdo is this? His words are clearly so childish, yet, he is leaking out a terrifying aura, causing those childish words to be more effective than any kind of threat. Too terrifying. Lai Gu shouted coldly, What are you all still in a daze for? Wait for me to treat you all to spicy hot pot. Call the fire department. Everyone didn't dare to be rash. Call the fire department right now, you all will regret it. In actuality, these 5 big powers were very powerful existences in the south. There was no need to talk about Cloud Sect. They were located at the periphery of Long and City in the cultivation world. The members of South Alliance were all people with special abilities. They were a power that couldn't be underestimated. Traceless Pavilion was located at the southwest. The parasitic insects that they raised were also ever-changing. The people in the circle of parasitic insects didn't dare to interact with them too much, fearing that they might accidentally be poisoned by the parasitic insects. Loud Thunder Sect belonged to the ancient martial arts sect. Their moves were superb, and their sect master was someone who could fight against Xiao Yi one-on-one. The prerequisite was that Xiao Yi didn't use Xianyuan's sword. Dry Zen sect also belonged to the cultivation world. Their strength wasn't that great, but they were experts in using medicine. Of course, this was only the strength of sects and sects. There were still powerful families in the south whose strength was comparable to Xiao family, just like Wang Debao, just that, they didn't come today. As for why they didn't come, perhaps they received the news of Lai Gu's arrival, and these 5 idiots came here to test the waters, and became the cannon fodder of Lai Gu. The call went through, but I still have to wait. Lai Gu is very bored. At this time, I can already enjoy the service of a big celebrity on the bed. Gluttonous monster, do you want to play landlord? We are missing one. Wei Chang said. Lai Gu looked towards the 20+ people below. Play landlord over, I will let you go if you win. The people below first went into a daze for a moment, then began to fight with each other, almost starting a fight. Chapter 117. After a round of fighting, a hero from the Dry Zen sect won. This person was rather thin and weak, but to be able to win in front of so many people, it was clear that he had other strong points. Lai Gu arranged the seats properly. Then Wei Chang took out the poker cards, then the 3 of them sat down. Wei Chang smiled and asked, "What's your name?" "I'm Xiong. Lai Gu laughed, "Your name doesn't match your physique at all." Xiong rubbed his nose in embarrassment. "I used to be very strong, but I've become skinny after refining medicine." Wei Chang began to shuffle the cards, and Lai Gu took out a comb and brushed it left and right, then took out a small mirror and looked at it. After he was satisfied, he kept the comb. "You know how to play fight the landlord, right?" Of course. When I'm bored, I'll also spar with my disciples." Xiong said with a silly smile. Wei Chang took out 3 bottles of beer, 1 for each of them. Xiong was very touched. He didn't expect them to be so nice. They even had beer to drink, and it was even beer. After shuffling the cards, Wei Chang smiled and said, "If you win, I will let you go." Thank you very much. Xiong was very happy. "In the future, I will not come to this leisure bar anymore. This is a den of bandits." "Then, what if we win?" Lai Gu asked back, then opened the beer cap and drank a small mouthful. Burp. Xiong was shocked and didn't know how to reply. Lai Gu patted onto Xiong's shoulder. "How about this? If we win, we will chop off one of your limbs, and if you win once, you can leave." Xiong's expression changed drastically. Even the people below couldn't help but take a step back. Too savage. It's easy to offend people like this. Xiong regretted coming out, but the arrow was already knocked on the bowstring and had to be released. "Then you can't cheat." Lai Gu spread out his hands. "Do we look like people who would cheat?" Looking at Wei Chang and Lai Gu's sincere face, Xiong believed them. At the start of the first round, Xiong appeared to be very nervous. Even his hand that was grabbing the cards was trembling, and the 20+ people that were watching the game did not even dare to let out a sound. The 4 marshals of Jiangnan who were stuck in the wall simply pretended to be dead. "You guys can't see me." Xiong picked up the flipped cards. This was the fate of the host, but he still had to look at the cards. Wei Chang and Lai Gu looked at their own cards and wrinkled their brows. On the other hand, Xiong looked at his own cards and revealed a smile. "All the trump cards are in my hands, and there are also various kinds of big cards. Let's see how you are going to win." Next, Xiong started to perform. Lai Gu and Wei Chang refused all kinds of things, as if they had made up their mind to let Xiong go. 2. Lai Gu finally took out a card. "King Bomb. I only have 1 card left. Thank you, big brothers, for helping me." Xiong finally heaved a sigh of relief. Even the heavens wanted to let him go. Wei Chang shouted in a deep voice, "Wait." Xiong was taken aback, and so were the audience. Was he going to go back on his word? Flush 2 king red bomb. Wei Chang played a pair of red 2s. Other than Lai Gu, everyone was stupefied. What kind of operation is this? Xiong gripped the 2 kings in his hands tightly. He was in a bad mood. He squeezed out a smile and said, "Big brother, this is not good." Lai Gu drank a mouthful of wine. "Just now, I asked you if you know how to play landlord, and you said that you know how to play it. What, are you trying to go back on your words? Do you believe that I will chop you into pieces right now?" Don't, I understand." Xiong could only hope that they had a single card in their hands and let him go. Wei Chang and Lai Gu were not fools. Knowing that you have a 2 in your hands, would you still put a single card in your hands? Without any suspense, Xiong lost the first round. "Gluttonous monster, where did you put the knife?" "Oh, there is a fruit knife under the bar counter." Lai Gu took out the fruit knife and placed it on the table. "Do you want to do it yourself or do you want us to do it?" Xiong gasped for breath. "What should I do? I can't win against them. If I resist, I will die. If I lose an arm, at least I will have a chance to win again. Since I have already gambled, I can only continue. You guys go ahead." Xiong took out a medicinal pill and prepared to stop the bleeding. Lai Gu took the fruit knife and twirled it in a fancy manner. With a flash of silver light, Xiong's left arm fell onto the ground and blood sprayed out violently. Xiong was also a man. Without making a sound, he continuously tapped on his acupuncture points with his right hand and swallowed the medicinal pill. Then, he took out a small bottle and sprinkled the powder onto the wound. Wei Chang thought that it was some kind of divine medicine, but it turned out to be Yunnan Bai Yao. After doing all these, Xiong's pale face gradually became rosy. The 20+ people below revealed looks of fear. This is basically not letting him go, but rather, he wants to kill him 1 slash at a time, and he actually believed it. Next, it was Lai Gu's turn to shuffle the cards, and Xiong only grabbed the cards with one hand. Although it was a bit slow, Wei Chang and Lai Gu expressed that they understood. Xiong became the host again, and he had extremely good cards. Not only was it a king bomb, there was also a flush 2 king bombs. It was an existence that was even more awesome than a king bomb. Furthermore, it was a black flower. Even if they had a red flower, how could a red flower be as big as a black flower? The atmosphere in the hall was very strange, causing people to tremble with fear. Xiong felt that he would definitely win this game. He had 2 bombs and a 3. King bomb. Xiong shouted in a deep voice. His aura was extraordinary. Lai Gu took out a pair of 2s, flush 2 king bomb. Flush 2 king bomb, black bomb. Xiong's face turned sinister. How satisfying is this? Now you guys have nothing to say, right? Wei Chang and Lai Gu did not make a sound. Seems like they approved of this method of playing. This made Xiong heave a sigh of relief. If I rush to the hospital now, I can still reattach my arm. A pair of 3s. Wei Chang threw out a pair of 3s. The hall fell into silence. What kind of F** king place is this? Fight the landlord, it can even be played like this. Lai Gu heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily you have a pair of 3s, I only have 1 3. Xiong's broken arm began to bleed, his face became pale once again. Why can a pair of 3s eat a pair of 2s? If a pair of 3s don't eat a pair of 2s, then what do you eat? Lai Gu revealed a look of, you are an idiot. What a dig. Xiong actually had nothing to say. A silver light flashed, one of his legs landed on the ground, and Xiong immediately repeated his actions just now. However, this time, his face did not turn red, instead, it became pale, even his lips became white. Under the table, a pool of blood had already flowed out, a faint smell of blood pervaded the air, causing people to involuntarily feel depressed. "Let me shuffle the cards," Xiong said in a deep voice. Wei Chang generously passed the cards to Xiong, and Xiong shuffled the cards with one hand. Although it was slow, Wei Chang and Lai Gu did not rush him. "What a pitiful person, he doesn't even know how to play the new version of Fight the Landlord, he is out." Back then, when His Honor was bored, he would occasionally play Fight the Landlord, but His Honor felt that it was too monotonous and needed to be flexible. In the end, Wei Chang and Lai Gu lost in all sorts of ways. Wei Chang almost lost all of his savings, and Lai Gu almost got stewed by His Honor. The two swore that they would never play Fight the Landlord with His Honor again. This round, Xiong was the landlord again. If it was possible, Xiong did not want to be the landlord. However, when he saw that he had a pair of threes, a pair of threes, and a pair of threes, his confidence came back. "King!" Wei Chang and Lai Gu shook their heads, causing Xiong to be overjoyed. Two of the same, red. Two of the same, black. Right now, Xiong only had 3 cards in his hand, and he shouted out, "A pair of black threes." Lai Gu unhurriedly took out 2 cards, a pair of 4s. Pfft! Xiong sprayed out a mouthful of blood, and the blood dyed the poker card red. Xiong's eyes were wide open, and soon after, he fell onto the ground. After twitching for a bit, he no longer had any reaction. Lai Gu took out a comb and parted his hair. Someone died playing Fight the Landlord. Wei Chang let out a sigh. He said that he knows how to play. Chapter 118. Lai Gu raised his head and drank a mouthful of beer, then shouted out, "Who else wants to come?" Everyone revealed expressions of fear and huddled together. No one was willing to come out. Going up to play would be a fate worse than death. The 4 marshals of Jiangnan, who were stuck on the wall, were smart enough to play dead. Wei Chang asked, "Why don't we change it?" Lai Gu remained silent for a while, then said, "When playing mahjong, 2 are missing. If you win, then you can leave." Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. If Fight the Landlord could be played like that, wouldn't mahjong be even more brutal? Seeing that no one came out, Wei Chang coldly shouted, "Is there no one who knows?" Everyone was panic-stricken and shook their heads vigorously. Gluttonous monster. If it's simple, anyone can do it. Lai Gu, could it be that you are talking about that? Wei Chang's eyes lit up. Lai Gu revealed a mysterious smile. Wei Chang walked to the storeroom and quickly took out a big box. He smiled at everyone and said, "Happy aeroplane chess, do you want to know about it?" Seeing that gentle smile, everyone knew that this was definitely not happy aeroplane chess. It was more like death aeroplane chess. It was rare for Wei Chang and Lai Gu to have the mood to play such an easy game. Anyone would be able to play it. "Since you 2 are not willing to come out, then I will just choose 2 of you to come out." Once again, a horrifying scene played out in the living room. Meanwhile, the main characters upstairs were completely unable to hear what was happening. The 2 sisters were currently eating chicken with little Ollie. When Yihua entered the living room and heard that little Ollie was inside, he decisively chose to lie on the bed and play with his phone. Qinya smiled and did not say anything. This man just wants to keep his face no matter what. Looking at how he is sulking, I really want to pinch his face. He is too cute. "Little Ollie, is your mother not at home today?" Qing Yutong asked curiously. "Yes, many people came to look for mother today. Mother can't take care of Ollie tonight." Ollie's tender voice sounded from the headset. It was very pleasant to listen to. Qinya asked curiously, "Little Ollie, did your mother spank you yesterday?" "Why would mother hit Ollie?" "She only made Ollie kneel on the keyboard." "It hurts," Ollie said pitifully through the earpiece. When Qinya and Qing Yutong heard this, they immediately felt a wave of heartache. Their motherly love instantly overflowed, and they started criticizing Chinya. "Auntie, I'm actually very tired." "Ollie can understand. Little Ollie is so sensible." Chinya's heart was completely intoxicated. Just how old is this child? If my own child is this sensible, that would simply be too great. Qin Yutong said tenderly, "Ollie, if there's a chance, Aunt will treat you to McDonald's." "McDonald's? What is it?" Qin Yutong went into a daze. "Ollie, could it be that you have never eaten McDonald's before? Can McDonald's be eaten? The name sounds so weird." Chinya asked, "Little Ollie, where do you live?" "I also don't know where this place is," Ollie said in confusion. If not for Ollie being so sensible, Chinya and Qin Yutong would have thought that little Ollie was kidnapped. "What does the surroundings look like?" Qin Yutong asked. "And there are clouds, there are waterfalls, there are palaces, there are also mountains, there are also people. However, none of them are playing with Ollie, and all of them are afraid of Ollie. What the hell was this place?" The two sisters were dumbfounded. Could it be that little Ollie was teasing them? Then why are they afraid of Ollie? "Ollie is so cute," Chinya asked. Ollie doesn't know either. Perhaps it is because of mother. Right now, Chinya and Qin Yutong were the ones who behaved like children, and their faces were filled with curiosity. "Is Ollie's mother very powerful?" Qin Yutong asked. Speaking of her mother, Ollie's tone was filled with pride. "Of course, not only is Ollie's mother beautiful, she is also very 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 powerful." Chinya and Qin Yutong both smiled. Children were naturally biased towards their mother. But Ollie can only see mother once at night. Mother doesn't have time to take care of Ollie during the day, and doesn't even allow Ollie to go out and play. Ollie really wants to go out and take a look at the outside world. "Auntie, is the outside world fun?" Qin Yutong immediately began bragging, saying all kinds of delicious food and fun things to entice Ollie. And after listening to Qin Yutong's description, Ollie wanted to go out and take a look at the outside world even more. Chinya glared at her little sister. "Ollie, don't listen to her, you have to listen to mother, understand?" And Ollie understands. "Where did Uncle go today?" Chinya smiled. "Ollie is too powerful, Uncle doesn't even dare to play with Ollie anymore." Yihua immediately wrinkled his brows as he stared at Chinya. "Try saying it again, I will slap your butt until it becomes swollen." "Ah, so it's like this. Then, Ollie, you don't have to be so powerful and let Uncle perform." Yihua naturally heard what Chinya said. "Do I need a little child to perform for me?" What a joke. "Ollie, Uncle still doesn't dare to come." Chinya smiled lightly. Yihua snorted coldly. "Who said that I don't dare to come?" "Auntie, is Uncle coming?" Ollie asked curiously. "And Uncle is coming, we can play as a team." "That's great, Ollie likes to play with Uncle." Yihua's expression sunk. "I don't like to play with a brat like you." In the following period of time, little Ollie was going to bring Yihua to eat chicken again. The fight upstairs was very intense, and the situation downstairs was the same as well. The smell of blood in the air was very dense, and the white dice were already dyed red by blood. Severed limbs were all around the dice, and the scene was too horrible to look at. The two men were only left with their bodies and a hand, and the two men were holding on to their last breath. Such a terrifying scene would cause a person's spirit to collapse. They weren't afraid of death, but after seeing such a way of death, only then did they know what it meant by living a life worse than death. Wei Chang and Lai Gu were drinking beer and playing games while waiting for the backstage to arrive. Wei Chang and Lai Gu didn't have the slightest bit of pity in their hearts. "If I had known that this would happen, I wouldn't have done what I did back then. To dare to come to His Honor's territory to test the waters, it is already not bad for me to have an intact corpse." Suddenly, the sound of brakes and hurried footsteps rang out from outside of the door. Everyone was overjoyed. Someone is finally here to save us. Cloud Sect's elder, Xing Kai, has arrived. South Alliance's elder, Gao Shuang, has arrived. Dry Zen Sect's elder, Yuying Guang, has arrived. Strong Lightning Sect's elder, Wen Rui, has arrived. Traceless Pavilion's elder, Tu Rong, has arrived. The disciples of various sects could be seen walking in first and shouting out the name of their sect's elder loudly. However, when they saw the situation at the scene, their chests were heaving up and down. Ugh, even the brows of the elders who walked in right after them were tightly knitted together. The other party is simply too savage, inhumane, and his methods are so cruel that it makes one's hair stand on end. Furthermore, the other party is completely not putting us and the others in his eyes at all. A small leisure bar dares to be so arrogant. However, when they thought about what happened last night, the elders' anger stopped for a moment. The reason why they sent people here today was to probe the other party. From the looks of it, that black robe from last night is most likely those two people. Even Xiao Yi only had a Pyrrhic victory, so how can the five of us be a match for the other party? Let the sect head come over and fight, but the sect head has an important matter to deal with right now, so how can he have the time to deal with such a small matter? After poking for around a minute, Lai Gu took out a black pill, then coughed lightly and said, "This pill is concocted by me. Although the time taken is not long, the effect is not bad. I even gave it a name, I want it every day. As for the medicinal ingredients, it is very hard to find. After consuming it for 1 minute, it will take effect. After consuming it for 1 hour, if the medicinal effect is not neutralized, the person's body will explode and he will die." Yuying Guang smiled in disdain. "I am just exaggerating, there is no medicine in the world that I cannot neutralize." However, looking at the black pill in Lai Gu's hand, why do I feel that it is so disgusting? How can I not be disgusted? Lai Gu had poked his armpit for 1 minute just now, and after much difficulty, he finally managed to poke such a big one. This king's black pill is very effective after consuming it. If you don't believe me, you can give it a try. I guarantee that it will take effect in 1 minute. Both parties could be seen exchanging pills. Lai Gu opened the small box, and the pill inside was golden in color. It looked very appetizing. Without even thinking, Lai Gu stuffed it into his mouth and even chewed for a while. Hee, is there a minty taste? I just added a little bit of it. Yuying Guang smiled faintly, then ate Lai Gu's pill in 1 gulp and tasted it attentively. However, after chewing it, why is there a stinky smell? What kind of medicinal ingredient would have such a smell? Lai Gu smiled and said, "Do you feel that there is a strange smell? That is because I added my own body odor. Everyone, you." Yuying Guang stretched out his long and thin finger and felt a little nauseous. Lai Gu opened a bottle of beer and waited nonchalantly. "Are you not planning to save yourself?" Yuying Guang drank a mouthful of water and said coldly. "No hurry, I want to see how you are going to save yourself." Chapter 120. Yuying Guang could be seen eating a pill, then sat cross-legged on the ground and circulated his energy to quickly digest the pill. After a while, Yuying Guang stood up and said with a smile, "It's done." "Is it really done?" Lai Gu drank a mouthful of wine and looked at Yuying Guang's crotch. Everyone couldn't help but look over and were immediately startled. "I didn't expect this old man to be so muscular." Yuying Guang turned pale with fright. "I actually didn't feel it." Suddenly, the heat that disappeared just now came back again. Yuying Guang's entire body turned red, and he didn't dare to be careless. He continuously ate a few pills and sat in meditation to digest the energy. However, not only was it useless, his entire body seemed like it was going to explode, and it seemed like it was going to swell up. Why is it like this? Why is it like this? What exactly is this medicine? Yu Yingguang felt like he was going to explode as he asked angrily. Lai Gu said leisurely, didn't you say it yourself just now? It's an aphrodisiac. The four elders were startled. They didn't expect the medicine's effects to be so outstanding, to actually make an old man who was over 90 years old look like a young man. This is too mystical. You are shameless. Don't be shameless, the antidote is over there. Lai Gu pointed to the few women who were huddled at the corner of the wall. They were all scared to death just now. Yu Yingguang was a decent person. Why would he do such a thing? Losing his integrity in old age is not a good thing. Where is the toilet? Yu Yingguang couldn't bear it anymore and asked gravely. Wei Chang pointed to the passage at the side. Turn left inside. Yu Yingguang flashed, and he was already at the toilet. Everyone could even hear the sound of the door closing. The other elders frowned and turned their heads. Vulgar. But is the medicine's effects really that good? Returning to the time when I was young. Not long later, Yu Yingguang walked out of the toilet with a comfortable expression. His withered face still had a bit of redness, as if he had been cured of a chronic illness. The other elders revealed a bit of envy. At this age, they no longer had any interest. However, when they saw Yu Yingguang's expression, they couldn't help but recall the time when they were young, but the vigor back then was gone forever. Yo, old man is pretty fast, huh? Yu Yingguang furrowed his brows. What do you mean by very fast? It had clearly been 3 minutes, but it sounded like it was settled in an instant. You want to embarrass this old man with a mere aphrodisiac? You overestimate yourself. Yu Yingguang stretched out his right hand and stroked his beard. The disciples couldn't help but feel disgusted. Lai Gu laughed lightly and said, Old man, you are also looking down on me too much. Every day, I want pellets. Just when Lai Gu finished speaking, Yu Yingguang felt a sensation coming from a certain place again, and his expression turned into shock. You. How did you refine this medicine? What? If you want to sell it, I won't tell you. Yu Yingguang gasped for air. The effects of the drug were taking effect too quickly. He still had to go in and settle this. 3 minutes later. Yu Yingguang walked out slowly. His expression wasn't very comfortable, but he didn't stop for long before running back in. 2 minutes later. Yu Yingguang walked out slowly. His right hand was trembling, and his breathing was rapid. Before he reached the door, he ran back in. A minute and a half later. Yu Yingguang held onto the wall and slowly walked out. His face was still flushed and his legs were trembling. However, he ran back in. 1 minute later. Yu Yingguang more or less crawled out. This is simply torture. If this goes on, I will explode and die. Antidote. I want the antidote. Yu Yingguang stretched out his skinny right hand, and there was actually a sparkling and translucent thing on his right hand. Everyone couldn't help but feel nauseous. The remaining 20 disciples knew that it would be like this. Elder. Why are you so honest? These two are big liars. Yu Yingguang felt as if his chest was burning. Because the fire in his chest did not pour out, his body gradually swelled up again. Not long later, Yu Yingguang, who was skinny just a moment ago, became like a 100 kilograms fatty. This kind of change made everyone shocked. What new style of landlord, what happy airplane chess, this is what is called real torture, living is worse than death. Lai Gu sighed, Old man, I have already said, isn't the antidote right there? You just had to use your hands, why bother? Everyone looked towards the few crazy women who were hiding at the corner of the wall, then looked towards Yu Yingguang, who was continuously swollen. Just what is this place? Why is it so gloomy and scary, these two demons? Yu Yingguang naturally knew, but as long as I do this kind of lowly thing, I won't be able to keep my chastity. If this matter were to spread out, how would I have any face left? Also, just what kind of bullshit aphrodisiac is this, to actually be able to maintain a calm mind and allow me to think like a normal person? If it was that kind of aphrodisiac that disregards everything, I wouldn't be thinking so much. But if I lose my life, what's the use of my face? Yu Yingguang turned his head around and looked towards the woman who was hiding at the corner of the wall and shivering, then rushed over regardless of everything. Because of the lighting, the corner of the wall was rather dim, making it hard to see what was going on, but everyone was able to hear the beautiful melody very clearly. This old man is rather dissolute. Lai Gu laughed. The expressions of the elders became solemn. That Yu Yingguang is too shameless, to actually openly do something improper. Do you not even want that old face of yours anymore? After quite a while, Cloud Sect's elder Xing Tian felt that it was about time. No matter how strong the medicinal effect was, it should have been neutralized by now. Yu Yingguang, who was currently neutralizing the poison, immediately fainted onto the ground. Lai Gu was very unhappy and asked gravely, "What are you doing? The old man is neutralizing the poison." "It's about time," Xing Tian said coldly. That kind of lingering voice made one feel nauseous just by listening to it. "All right, in actuality, it's just jealousy." "What do you mean by about time? You just don't understand me. I ask for pills every single day." Originally, the old man was neutralizing the poison, and yet, you interrupted him. Lai Gu sighed, seemingly feeling that it was a pity. Wei Chang said calmly, "You murderer." "I." Xing Tian opened his eyes wide. "I have never seen such a shameless person before, to actually say that I am a murderer." Lai Gu said, "Everyone saw it just now. I kindly pointed out the right path for Skinny Bone, yet, he interrupted me to save him. If he isn't a murderer, then what is he?" "A bunch of nonsense," Xing Tian shouted out angrily. Traceless Pavilion's elder Tu Rong said, "Elder Xing, you are indeed in the wrong for this matter." "Elder Xing, although Elder Yu's behavior was improper, he did it for the sake of his life. Why did you interrupt him?" South Alliance's Gao Shuang said. "That's right, since Elder Yu did it, I'm sure that he should be clear of the consequences." "Elder Xing, aren't you cutting off his life?" Violent Thunder Sect's elder Wen Rui said lightly. Xing Tian's eyes widened. "I didn't expect that at this crucial moment, they would actually hit me when I am down. Thinking about it, it makes sense. This time, my sect discovered a treasure, yet I secretly excavated it. It would be weird if they didn't hate me, and what I did just now just happened to give them something to use against me." Wei Chang and Lai Gu weren't very clear about the pros and cons of what His Honor did, and they only felt that the internal strife between them was very interesting. Chapter 121. Along with what Lai Gu said, Xing Tian's expression became extremely ugly. "He actually asked me to go and help him. Why should I help him? Help him send the gay flying. Elder Xing, if you don't help him, your crime of murder will be confirmed. You'll have to go to jail." Every single word of Lai Gu's teasing caused Xing Tian to burn with rage, and he wished that he could eat this high school student in front of him alive. Just as everyone was talking, the unconscious Yu Yingguang swelled up once more. The speed was so fast that it left everyone speechless. Every now and then, he was like a rubber ball. "It's too late." Lai Gu sighed. Bang! An explosion suddenly rang out. Those crazy women did not know what had happened. They were still laughing foolishly, but their bodies were covered in blood. "Tisk, TSK, you are just watching someone die and not helping them. That little brothers from Dry Zen sect can leave now." Lai Gu waved his hand, and in the end, not a single person left. "We can leave now, sit down and wait for supper," Lai Gu urged. One of them whispered, "There are a total of 4 people from the Dry Zen sect, 3 men and 1 woman. Lai Gu went into a daze. This is too miserable. Say, why do you all have to go through the trouble of doing this? This is his honor's territory, and you all even dare to come over to probe. All right. Take that woman away. A few men walked into the corner of the wall and pulled out one of the crazy women. Then, they let her out. Exaggerated laughter immediately rang out from outside. Not long after, an ear-piercing screech of brakes could be heard. Lai Gu let out a long sigh. A young lady in the prime of her youth is gone just like that. It's all your boss's fault for recklessly giving out orders, and even to the point of not saving her. Sigh. In actuality, the two of them didn't intend to kill anyone. What they needed was to shock and awe. Just now, Lai Gu had already revealed the answer. However, Skinny Gu was killed by someone else. He was really innocent. I'll do it. Xing Tian shouted in a deep voice. Lai Gu's interest was piqued again as he said, me or him? You. Xing Tian pointed at Lai Gu and shouted. Hee, at least you have good eyesight. What are we competing in? Lai Gu raised his eyebrows towards Wei Chang. You can just go and play at one side, all of them like handsome guys. Let's compete in swords. Compete in being despicable? Lai Gu immediately became stupefied. Even being despicable can be competed. It's a sword duel. It wasn't a competition of despicableness. Such a such a sword. Xing Tian took out his sword and accidentally blurted it out. His face turned slightly red. Lai Gu suddenly came to a realization, oh, it's a sword competition, I thought that you were very cheap. You. Little fool, I'll let you see this elder's prowess in a while. Xing Tian snorted coldly. Lai Gu pouted his mouth, then turned his head around and asked, gluttonous monster, where is my 11 meters long broadsword? No, where is my broadsword? Wei Chang smiled, I'll help you get it. Wei Chang walked into the storage room at the back, and not long after, the sound of metal rubbing against the ground could be heard. When Wei Chang appeared dragging the 11-meter pig slaughtering knife, everyone was dumbfounded. Compared to the sword in Xing Tian's hand, this was a huge object, and that knife was as small as a needle. Lai Gu took over the huge pig slaughtering knife, and a hint of cold light could be seen on the blade of the knife. How do you want to compete? Xing Tian's brows were solemn. He suddenly remembered that today's mission wasn't to fight with them, but to bring them away. He couldn't complicate the issue. He could just let it go, but he couldn't be like the elder of the Dry Zen sect. Let's fight each other once. Xing Tian said in a deep voice. A hint of blood could be seen on Lai Gu's gaze. All right. You chop me first, then I'll chop you. Everyone took in a breath of cold air. That embroidery needle of yours won't be able to stab someone to death. Look at the other party's 11 meters long broadsword. If it were to stab down, the depth of the broadsword would be unfathomable. No, it's a fight between weapons. Xing Tian hurriedly explained. The excitement that Lai Gu felt just a moment ago immediately disappeared. Boring. Xing Tian laughed dryly. Why do I feel so embarrassed? Xing Tian could be seen shouting out lightly, and the sword in his hand rang out. Everyone couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Cloud sect swordsmanship is indeed formidable. Lai Gu let out a yawn and raised the pig slaughtering knife in his hand. There was no sword cry, only cold light could be seen. Be gentler, don't disturb his honor. Wei Chang reminded in a low voice. Lai Gu wrinkled his brows. He was controlling his strength, but in the eyes of others, they would think that Lai Gu was afraid. Bang! The two weapons came into contact with each other, and the floor beneath their feet instantly cracked. Lai Gu heaved a sigh of relief. I controlled my strength just right, and Wei Chang was also afraid that Lai Gu would disturb his honor. Xing Tian gasped for breath. I didn't expect that the other party would actually be so strong. All right, let's go. Let's go, boring. Lai Gu waved his hand. I still feel that Skinny Gu is interesting, it's a pity that he died. Xing Tian led the 5 sect disciples and walked out of the bar. Pooh! Finally, he couldn't bear it anymore, and his blood flowed out violently. That slash from the other party just now caused my vitality to be greatly injured. This is too terrifying. Elder! Quickly return to the sect. Right now, Xing Tian had to immediately return to the sect and seek help from the sect leader. If not, he would definitely vomit blood and die. Within Leisure Bar, there were still 3 elders left, and all of them were calculating. The other party's strength is very strong, and Xing Tian's acting just now is indeed not bad, but that expression on his face was unable to be concealed. He definitely suffered from internal injuries. What should we do? I'll do it. Traceless Pavilion's elder Tu Rong walked out with a look that seemed as if he was facing death calmly. You want me to choose him? Lai Gu asked excitedly. Him. Tu Rong pointed at Wei Chang and said. Lai Gu let out a sigh. You actually chose a pervert, congratulations. The corner of Tu Rong's mouth twitched. This security guard smile is so warm, he should be a bit better than this high school student, right? Suddenly, a sound rang out from the staircase, and Wei Chang and Lai Gu's expression sunk. Did we disturb his honor? Everyone noticed that Wei Chang and Lai Gu's expression actually revealed nervousness. Everyone looked towards the staircase, and the first thing that was revealed was a pair of calves, what a well-proportioned calves, followed by a pair of long legs. My God! Isn't this one of the twins that walked up just now? The hell, are you two holding a bloody party? This is a bit interesting. Qin Yutong still hasn't removed her makeup yet, didn't she just die? Thus, I might as well take a bag of spicy gluten and go up. Lai Gu didn't even know how to address his honor's sister-in-law, thus, I might as well just call her ordinary. Subordinates saw that Leisure Bar was too cold and cheerless, so I invited some extras over to act as a prop. Lai Gu said while stammering. Everyone turned pale with fright. Subordinate. These 2 perverts are that woman's subordinates. I didn't expect this. Their boss is actually a woman. If that's the case, doesn't that woman's strength is even more terrifying? Qin Yutong sized up Lai Gu, then took a look at Wei Chang, then took a look at the aeroplane chess on the ground, as well as that severed arm. Picking up the spicy bar, Qin Yutong pouted her mouth. It's almost 12 o'clock, it should be more or less done. Subordinate understands. Lai Gu smiled. After Qin Yutong walked up to the staircase, Wei Chang and Lai Gu heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily, it isn't his honor. Speak, what are we competing in? Wei Chang urged. Everyone didn't even dare to breathe loudly. That woman actually didn't even frown in the slightest, it could be seen that she is a cold-blooded person. Chapter 122. Within the bottle, there was a red little bug that looked like a little ladybug. It would occasionally fly around a few times, and it looked rather cute. Lai Gu opened another bottle of beer and felt sorrowful for this old fellow. Gluttonous monsters don't lack bugs at all. His original body was a monster, and the parasites on his body made people feel numb. Luckily, he had turned into a human now. Wei Chang smiled, then stretched his hand into his crotch and immediately took something out. A huge black bug could be seen appearing on Wei Chang's palm. It had countless tentacles. If one did not look carefully, one would think that it was hair. And those legs of the bug were just like those of a centipede, causing people's entire body to feel numb. Lai Gu turned his face away. That bug is too disgusting. Everyone let out faint vomiting sounds. Such a huge bug, how did you take it out from your crotch? Or could it be that you have been raising such a huge bug in your crotch? Wei Chang stretched out his hand and played with the black bug on his palm, and those countless tentacles actually wrapped around Wei Chang's fingers. This is a digestive bug. After eating it, it will absorb your nutrients and grow stronger, and in the end, become the main body and replace you. Wei Chang explained with a smile, but everyone was sweating profusely. Especially Tu Rong. How am I supposed to swallow such a huge black bug? Just looking at it makes me feel disgusted. In comparison, my fierce goo is much cuter. Upon thinking of Yu Yingguang's ending, Tu Rong sweated profusely. I have to think of a way. That's right. A faint smile appeared on Tu Rong's face as he kept his fierce goo and said, You misunderstood. Just now, I was just showing you my Traceless Pavilion's goo. I didn't mean anything else. Traceless Pavilion's disciple praised the elder for being smart. If you eat such a huge bug, you might even have the heart to die. The other two elders revealed a look of disdain. Wei Chang expressed that he didn't mind and stuffed the black bug into his crotch. Seeing this action, everyone took in a breath of cold air. Then, what do you want to play? Recently, I have done some research on rock paper scissors. How about we play around? Lai Gu was stupefied. Wei Chang was stupefied. Everyone was stupefied. 1 minute later, Tu Rong happily left with his disciple. Those few idiots are so stupid. Look at me, I won against them so easily and left without any injuries. One must use their brains. Yu Yingguang's soul cursed, you are fucking shameless. Elder Wen Rui of the Mighty Thunder sect took a step forward with an extraordinary aura. He shouted in a deep voice, Allow me. Compete in what? Wei Chang was a little unhappy. Rock, paper, scissors actually lost. Cunning humans. Wen Rui said in a deep voice, This elder can drink a bottle of beer in one go. Lai Gu, who was currently drinking wine, immediately spurted out his wine. Wei Chang's expression became even worse. The disciples of the Mighty Thunder sect looked at the elder in admiration. Elder Wen was too quick-witted, a role model for them. Without any mishaps, Wen Rui drank a bottle of free beer in one go and retreated with his disciples. When he walked out, he even sighed. The first two were simply idiots. You need to know how to outsmart them. Only the Southern Alliance's elder Gao Shuang was left in the leisure bar. The disciples of the Southern Alliance looked at their elder and thought in their hearts, one is rock paper scissors, the other is drinking wine, why don't the elder follow suit? Gao Shuang coldly snorted. There was no need for her to imitate him. What do you want to play? Wei Chang was very unhappy, this cunning human. Gao Shuang said in disdain, the requests of the first two are too unpresentable, this elder doesn't want to be associated with them. The disciples of the Southern Alliance worshipped the elder even more. Elder Gao is too brave, not panicking in the face of danger, he can be said to be a role model. This elder has recently gained quite a bit of experience in playing landlord, why don't the two of you play? Gao Shuang said with a mysterious confidence. Wei Chang and Lai Gu were startled at first, but soon after, they revealed a gentle smile. Wei Chang even personally moved the chairs, and Lai Gu even opened a bottle of red wine to entertain them. Gao Shuang didn't expect that there would be such treatment, this leisure bar isn't that scary after all. The disciples of the Southern Alliance cried. Elder Gao, why are you courting death? Just play a rock-paper-scissors game, we can't even play their landlord. Half an hour later. Wei Chang and Lai Gu held onto a mop and mopped the floor. Lai Gu sighed, an elder is indeed an elder, to be able to hold on for so long. Can you be called an elder if you don't have some strength? Wei Chang wiped the bloody table and said with a smile. This landlord is too interesting, I am going back to play with the women, I will leave this place to you. After finished speaking, Lai Gu ran away. Wei Chang laughed bitterly and continued to wipe the table. Uncle Wei. A gentle voice rang out, and Tang Wei could be seen slowly walking out from the room at the back. Wei Chang went into a daze for a moment, then looked at the woman in front of him and asked, "Are you afraid of Uncle Wei?" Tang Wei lightly hugged onto Wei Chang's waist and leaned her head onto Wei Chang's chest. A hint of black light flashed past her beautiful eyes. "I'm not afraid." Wei Chang laughed. "Clean up well, Uncle Wei will send you home." "Uncle Wei, did you forget that the light in my house is broken?" Tang Wei said shyly. "That's right, Uncle Wei will help you change it." Wei Chang smiled and patted onto Tang Wei's head. "Go and dig out those 4 people from the wall and throw them out." Oh. Tang Wei was currently gloomy. The 4 handsome generals of Jiangnan are going to be bullied by Little Punch again. Yi Hua, who was upstairs, did not know what was happening downstairs, but Qin Yutong knew about it. Observing her brother-in-law, he is really becoming more and more mysterious. After eating chicken for the entire night, Yi Hua expressed that he was not happy, because it had nothing to do with him at all. This little guy said that he wouldn't steal the limelight, but in the end, he was a little swindler, stealing all of the limelight. "Uncle, I'm sorry, Ollie stole your limelight again." Yi Hua seemed to have already gotten used to it as he placed down his earphones. "Go to sleep. I will play one more round." Qinya muttered, but to her surprise, Yi Hua directly carried Qinya up. Qin Yutong said disconsolately, "Can you 2 not show off your affection in front of me?" "Yi Hua, what are you doing? Put me down." Qinya's little fists hammered onto Yi Hua powerlessly, and her face was slightly red. "Is it possible for me to put her down?" "It's definitely impossible." "Ollie, you should sleep early too. Be careful that your mother will spank your butt," Qin Yutong said. "Mother might still be discussing matters. Ollie can still play one last round." "Alright, one last round." "And one last round, Ollie will go to sleep." Yi Hua expressed that this was the never-ending last round. "Go and take a bath." After placing Qinya down, Yi Hua said faintly. Qinya snorted, then sat on the bedside, not going. "There is a smell of smoke. Isn't it because of the smoke that you smoked? Do you want me to help you take a bath?" Yi Hua wrinkled his brows and said gravely. Qinya pouted her mouth, then glared at Yi Hua, then walked into the bathroom. After Qinya finished taking a bath, Yi Hua also took a bath, then lied on the bed. Chapter 123. Just like how she is right now, quietly leaning on my side, not making any noise, it feels really comfortable. That smooth and beautiful hair of hers is especially comfortable to touch, and those lips taste very sweet. I have to find an excuse to kiss them. If I were to take the initiative, I would seem to lose a lot of face, and this foolish woman would also not take the initiative. This is troublesome. What are you thinking about? Qinya leaned on Yi Hua's chest and asked tenderly. Yi Hua said faintly, "Nothing. Accompany me to the hospital to do a checkup tomorrow." Qinya said calmly. Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. "What checkup?" "Of course it's the child. How are you a father, don't you understand?" Qinya stretched out her small fist and punched onto Yi Hua's chest. Yi Hua was very clear about the child's condition. There is no need for him to go to the hospital to do a checkup. The child is fine, there is no need to go to the hospital. I know that you are a cultivator, but I am still worried. Qinya's tone became weak. After being in contact with Dong Huangli for the past 2 days, she looked forward to the birth of her child even more. She wanted to ensure that everything would go smoothly. What? You don't believe me? It's not that I don't believe you, I just want to be sure. Qinya rubbed onto her flat stomach, and a trace of a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. In a few more months, my stomach will be big, right? Yi Hua remained silent. After all, Qinya is only a human, and she naturally believes in modern medicine. Fine, I'll just do it, it's good for her to be at ease. Yihua, before my stomach gets big, let's go take a wedding photo. Qingye said tenderly. After all, every girl dreams of the day they wear a wedding dress, and Qingye was no exception. Yihua said faintly, what's there to take a photo of, boring. Can you be a bit more serious? It's fine if we don't have a wedding, but we should at least have a set of wedding photos, right? Qingye became angry. Do you really not want to take a wedding photo with me that much? Yihua remained silent. However, in Qingye's eyes, this was a disguised form of rejection. Qingye could be seen sitting up and asking coldly, Yihua, let me ask you, are you still treating me as a tool to give birth to a child? Yes. Yihua replied coldly. However, this reply made Yihua a bit annoyed. Qingye's beautiful eyes immediately turned red. I didn't expect that he would still be the same as when we first met. I thought that after being in contact with him for this period of time, he would change. I am truly foolish. After a long time, Qingye said faintly, after the child is born, let's divorce. After she finished speaking, she leaned to the side. The gentle moonlight shone on her beautiful face, which was covered with tear stains. When Yihua heard the word divorce, he became even angrier and said coldly, up to you. Hearing Yihua's cold and indifferent words, Qingye slightly curled up her body, and her shoulders lightly shook. Although she was crying, she did not let out a single sound, and she would not lower her head in front of this man. At this moment, Yihua's mood was exceptionally bad. At the same time, he was thinking, did I spoil her too much, causing her to become more and more arrogant, to actually dare to propose a divorce now? I, the Supreme Overlord, have never treated a woman so well before, let alone a human woman. Thinking about the things that I have done for the past few days, Yihua felt that I have been too benevolent. Yihua stood up and walked out of the bedroom. When Qingye, who was at the side, heard the sound of Yihua leaving, at the moment when the door was closed, Qingye finally couldn't hold back the grievance in her heart and cried out. Picking up the pillow that was below her head and hugging it in her bosom, Qingye buried her beautiful face onto the pillow, and very quickly, her tears of grievance wetted the pillow. For the sake of the child, I have the heart to walk down the path together with you, but you don't have the heart, and you even treat yourself as a tool to give birth to the child. I, Qingye, have misjudged you. Coming to the office, Yihua took out a bottle of vodka, lit up a cigarette, then sat in front of the window and looked at the moonlight. Wei Chang. Lai Gu. Yihua called out gravely. Immediately, Wei Chang and Lai Gu appeared at the same time. Without thinking too much, the two of them immediately kneeled onto the ground and kowtowed. Because the tone that His Honor used to call out to them was not right, it was as if they had returned to the past, the time when His Honor was inhumane. Yihua squinted his eyes and looked at the full moon, then spat out a mouthful of smoke, say, have I been too benevolent recently? Wei Chang and Lai Gu turned pale with fright. What is going on? Why did His Honor change so quickly? A few hours ago, His Honor said that he was going to bring everyone out for an outing, and right now, he actually completely changed. Lai Gu nudged Wei Chang, who was at the side. Aren't you very talkative? Quickly say something. How would Wei Chang dare to speak carelessly right now? He was afraid that if he were to say something wrong, His Honor would go berserk. If that happened, would Xiao Tang still be able to live? Obviously not. Subordinate doesn't dare to try to figure out His Honor's thoughts. Wei Chang said respectfully. I can only first figure out what exactly happened to His Honor, then figure out how to deal with the problem. Seems like that Tang Wei has changed you a lot. Yihua said indifferently, just that the temperature of the air suddenly dropped. Wei Chang was greatly startled. Your Honor, Xiao Tang is innocent. Yihua slowly stood up and walked in front of Wei Chang. Looking at Wei Chang, who had his head lowered, Yihua said, you are actually pleading for a human woman. The huge pressure caused Wei Chang to sweat profusely. Just what is going on with his honor? Your honor, Wei Chang didn't mean to contradict his honor. I hope that your honor can forgive him this time. Lai Gu hurriedly replied. Yihua took a deep breath. I have heard that human women have the ability to bewitch people since a long time ago. Seems like the rumors are true. Wei Chang and Lai Gu took a look at each other. The reason why his honor got so angry is because of the madam. However, the madam is only a human. How could she possibly make his honor get so angry? Lai Gu didn't have much contact with Wei Chang, thus he didn't understand Wei Chang very well. Meanwhile, Wei Chang felt that the madam was very gentle, and didn't seem like the kind of woman who would make others angry. Wei Chang paused for a moment, then said, Subordinate feels that for your honor to be benevolent, it means that you have a deeper understanding of human nature. After all, there are benevolent people among humans too. Yihua didn't say anything and lit up another stick of cigarette. Seeing that his honor didn't say anything, Wei Chang let out a sigh of relief. What your honor said just now, human women have the ability to bewitch people, subordinate feels that we can understand it from another angle. Speak. Yihua said indifferently. Wei Chang was just speaking thoughtlessly, who knew that his honor would ask about it in detail. What should I do? Yihua stealthily pulled onto Lai Gu who was at the side. Lai Gu waved his hand. What do you mean by another angle? I just feel that any angle on the bed is fine. This Lai Gu, don't you have a lot of women? Will you die if I ask you to speak about your thoughts? Lai Gu expressed that if I were to speak about my thoughts, his honor would probably fly into a rage again. Right now, I can only brace myself and speak about it. If your honor views this bewitching technique as love, perhaps, you will be able to understand. Bullshit. Yihua shouted out gravely. Wei Chang's honor's attitude is just like those overbearing CEOs in television dramas. So it turns out that his honor also has the same troubles as me. Subordinate deserves to die. Subordinate deserves to die. Wei Chang and Lai Gu immediately begged for forgiveness. However, the two of them let out a sigh of relief, because the word bullshit that his honor said just now clearly contained a human's emotions. Chapter 124. Lai Gu immediately followed along. Subordinate thinks so as well. Yihua tightly wrinkled his brows and walked back and forth, feeling restless. What are you still lying on the floor for? Hurry up and scram back to your room. Wei Chang and Lai Gu were overjoyed. Seems like his honor has thought things through. Subordinate will scram right now. Subordinate will scram right now. Yihua opened his computer and searched for the definition of love on Baidu. After searching for an entire night, he came to a conclusion. Loving her means hurting her. I'm afraid that this is a pirated website. Dawn quietly rose. Yihua lied on the boss's chair and fell asleep. Meanwhile, Qinya, who was in the bedroom, did not sleep for the entire night. Feeling that the entire bed was ice cold, she got off the bed and washed up, then opened the office door and discovered that Yihua was actually sleeping on the chair. Qinya did not say anything, closed the door and walked out of the bar. Not knowing how long had passed, Yihua woke up. The first thing he did was to light up a cigarette, and a hint of irritation could be seen in between his brows. After smoking the cigarette, Yihua walked out of his office and arrived at the bedroom. There was not a single person in the room, and the bed was neat and tidy. Could it be that this woman ran away from home? Yihua opened the wardrobe and discovered that Qinya's clothes were all there, even her shoes were all there. If this woman dares to leave, I will definitely tie her up. Arriving at sister-in-law's room, as expected, Qinya was hiding here. Just that, she did not play games and was instead sleeping on her little sister's bed. The corner of Qinya's eyes were still moist. On the table was a packed breakfast box, which was completely empty. There was no portion for me. Is she really planning on divorcing me? Do you think that I won't be able to continue living without you? What a joke. What bullshit, love. This is completely bullshit. And also, this sister-in-law is actually giving me an attitude. All of you are really something. Qin Yutong was naturally standing on her big sister's side. Early in the morning, her big sister ran over with breakfast in her hands. Just that, her expression was not right. Her pair of beautiful eyes were red and swollen. This was the first time Qin Yutong saw her big sister like this. No need to think too much, she must have definitely been bullied by brother-in-law. In the past, when the two of them quarreled, the quarrel would end within a minute, and from the looks of it, the situation today is not good. Big sister did not even say a single word and just lied down to sleep, and when I asked her what happened, she did not even say a single word. Although the system wants me to push the blame to brother-in-law, it is not forced. Big sister suffered such a big injustice. As a little sister, I definitely have to stand up. Chapter 125. Yihua said coldly, "Come over. Brother-in-law, if you have something to say, we can talk about it properly. We are also respectable people. It isn't good to use weapons." Where was Qin Yutong's imposing manner from just a moment ago? Yihua decided that today, he must definitely teach this sister-in-law a lesson. To actually dare to point a knife at me, she must have eaten too much dragon meat. Get down. Yihua pointed at his leg and shouted. Qin Yutong was startled, and her small face collapsed as she pouted her small mouth. Brother-in-law, Yutong knows that I am wrong. I will report you. I have a lot of big sister's dark history. Can I use my good deeds to make up for my bad deeds? Get down. Qin Yutong dejectedly lied on Yihua's legs. Brother-in-law, be gentler. Raise your butt. Qin Yutong's perky buttock stuck out. She was quite cooperative. Paw. Ah. Stab me with a knife. Do you still dare to do it? Yihua shouted out gravely. I must definitely teach this sister-in-law of mine a lesson. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Brother-in-law, be gentler. Paw. Ah. Brother-in-law, spare me. Yutong will not dare to do it again. Paw. Ah. Brother-in-law. Brother-in-law. Daddy. Daddy, spare me. Right now, Qin Yutong was already incoherent with her speech. It really hurts. Meanwhile, the more Yihua fought, the more excited he became. Suddenly, the sound of paw 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 resounded in the office, and Qin Yutong's tender moan of pain could be heard mixed within. How was this a punishment? This was simply a reward in disguise. Congratulations, Master. You have completed the first mission. Qin Yutong, who was currently being spanked, went into a daze. Master, your brother-in-law accidentally touched your thigh just now. Qin Yutong suddenly came to a realization. Brother-in-law has such a good scheme. Since he is able to take advantage of me, he is still able to do it so openly. Brilliant. It was too high. Yihua expressed that his hand slipped a bit just now. This Qin Yutong's skin is rather slippery. The feeling of hitting is not bad, it is very elastic. The one who is suffering is Qin Yutong. Isn't brother-in-law too heavy-handed with his attacks? It seems like he is even venting his anger on my sister-in-laws, but brother-in-law is so shameless, who asked Qin Yutong to step into the muzzle of the gun. To begin with, Yihua's mood wasn't that good. I definitely won't be able to beat up my wife. Didn't this sister-in-law send over to be beaten up by me? How much longer are you going to lie there? Yihua had already stopped his hands for a very long time, while his sister-in-law was lying there motionlessly. Qin Yutong's beautiful face was completely red as she said in a small voice, I can't move anymore. If you dare do this again, even your sister won't be able to save you. Brother-in-law, Yutong knows her mistake. I promise that there won't be a next time. Qin Yutong struggled to stand up. Right now, not only was her butt hurting, she even felt that she had to go and change into a pair of pants. Yihua waved his hand, and Qing Yutong limped out of the office. In her heart, Yihua scolded her brother-in-law for being shameless. Who would hit their sister-in-law like this? Didn't I already apologize to her? It hurts so much. Ouch, my little butt is already swollen. After sitting for a while, Yihua walked out of leisure bar. His stomach was a bit hungry, luckily that Chinese crepe stall did not close. Add eggs and ham sausage. Yihua walked to the side of the stall and said. The auntie took a look at Yihua, then began to make breakfast while saying unhurriedly, "Young man, you have also been eating breakfast at auntie's place for a few years. Auntie doesn't feel that you are a bad person." Yihua was stupefied. If I, the Supreme Overlord, am not a bad person, then who is a bad person? Did everyone think that they were living too well during this period of time? However, it is not right for you to hit your wife. The auntie added another sentence. Yihua almost vomited blood. Which eye of yours saw me hitting my wife? If I were to be vented out by gossips, where would I, the Supreme Overlord, have any face left? Just as Yihua wanted to refute, the auntie did not even give him the chance to do so. You have also been a bachelor for a few years, and it wasn't easy for you to find a good one, so cherish it. Wives are meant to be loved, not used to vent out one's anger. Auntie is someone who has been through it, and was once beautiful too. Someone who has been through it, and was once beautiful too. Can the auntie be less narcissistic and more sincere? Also, I, the Supreme Overlord, am still worried about women. With just a wave of my hand, who knows how many women would kneel down and lick my feet? You are saying it as if I, the Supreme Overlord, do not want anyone. Here, all right, your wife counted the money for 2 Chinese crepes this morning, but she only took 1. She must have known that you were coming. The auntie said with a slight smile. Yihua took over the piping hot Chinese crepes and was a bit absent-minded. Qingya really bought it for me. Young man, your wife treats you very well, treat her well. After finished speaking, the auntie began serving other customers. I lost another customer today. If not for you being handsome, I wouldn't have bothered to help you. Holding on to the piping hot Chinese crepes, Yihua returned to his bar and sat foolishly at the bar counter. Am I being too harsh towards Qingya? Forget it, forget it. A great person will not remember the wrongs of a small person. I will forgive her after she apologizes to me later. After a while, as expected, familiar footsteps came from behind. Without thinking too much, Yihua knew that Qingya had come down, and Yihua even took a peek at her. Qing Yutong took out a tissue and passed it to her big sister, then said tenderly, "Under my threat, brother-in-law said some things." "What words?" Qingya turned her head around and said coldly. She looked as if she didn't mind, but in actuality, she cared a lot about it in her heart. Does Qing Yutong still not know? The two of them wanted to save face and refused to lower their heads. Brother-in-law said, "Say what?" "Speak, Qing Yutong. Are you going to tell me or not? Don't be anxious. Wait for me to control my emotions and learn from brother-in-law's state." Qing Yutong could be seen imitating Yihua, and her face sunk as she said faintly, "The matter that happened last night was my fault, but when I heard her talking about divorce, I became extremely angry. After all, I love her." After finished speaking, Qing Yutong took a glance at Qing Yutong, and discovered that even her big sister was stupefied. Did he really say that? Qingya asked after a long while. Isn't that so? Didn't you see brother-in-law's regretful expression? He just didn't want to show it in front of you. Humph. In any case, I won't be able to forgive him so easily this time. Qingya pouted her mouth. It seemed that her anger had already dissipated by more than half. That's right, we won't be able to forgive brother-in-law so easily this time. Chinya silently nodded her head. Then big sister, you stay here and think about it first, I will be going upstairs. Qin Yutong immediately went upstairs and arrived at Yihua's office. Upon arriving, she saw that her brother-in-law was currently smoking a cigarette. Brother-in-law. Good news. Qin Yutong limped into the office and had a smile on her face. Yihua extinguished the cigarette and did not even turn his head back. I heard the sound from downstairs just now, this woman is simply out of control. Speak. Yihua said coldly. Qin Yutong shook her head helplessly. I really don't know how the two of us are going to get along with each other. Other people say that ice and fire are incompatible, and the two of us are just like two lumps of ice. Qin Yutong coughed lightly, my big sister told me the truth just now. The corner of Yihua's eyebrows slightly raised as he slowly turned around. What? Wait for me to control my emotions. Qin Yutong paused for a moment, then her beautiful eyes immediately turned red. Big droplets of tears flowed down as she pounced into Yihua's embrace. Soon after, Qin Yutong cried out loudly, Yutong, do you know how much Big Sister loves your brother-in-law? Big Sister didn't go to work for him and played games with him, but he doesn't like Big Sister at all, and even said that Big Sister is a tool to give birth to children. After Qin Yutong finished speaking, she stopped crying and said with a smile, Big Sister was like that back then. Did she really say that? Yihua asked gravely. Isn't that so? Chapter 127. Chinya sat on the bench and drank plain water. In actuality, she was thinking about a lot of things. The first time I met Yihua, I was also sitting here. However, from that time onwards, the trajectory of my life had changed. Although he was very cold and rarely smiled, but these few days, he treated me very well. What my little sister said isn't without reason. Yihua is the kind of person who wants face no matter what, and even more so, he wouldn't lower his head. Perhaps it was because I angered him last night that he became angry. But even if he was angry, he couldn't treat him like that. He didn't even explain himself. Suddenly, the sound of steady footsteps could be heard coming from the staircase. Chinya quickly got into a good posture. I can't let Yihua look down on me. This time, I definitely won't let him off easily, if not, I will still be bullied in the future. Yihua slowly walked over, and when he saw Chinya who had a haughty look on her face, he laughed in his heart. You probably don't know this, right? Your little sister has already sold you out, and yet, you are still putting on an act here. It isn't your fault that you fell in love with me. After all, I, the Supreme Overlord, am too outstanding, and there isn't a second person like me in this world. Seeing that Yihua was standing there and not speaking, Chinya pursed her lips. Let's see how long you can be stubborn for. If you love me, then just say it out, what is there to be embarrassed about? It's no wonder, I have become more beautiful recently. Yihua is embarrassed, a man who cares about his face no matter what, let's see who can last longer. Yo, this woman is really enduring. She loves me so much that she is hovering between life and death. Just a moment ago, she even tried to commit suicide. Now that she saw me coming down, I reckon that her heart must be blooming with joy. Let's see how long you can hold it in for. Just like that, the two of them wasted 10 minutes, and finally, Chinya was unable to hold back anymore. I'm going to the hospital. A trace of an arc appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. Aren't you very stubborn? In the end, they still succumbed to my charm. With a light touch of his hand, the light blue barrier disappeared like a bubble. Chinya pouted her mouth. Wasn't I very arrogant? If you have the guts, don't leave. Continue to lock yourself up. Why don't you say that you love me? Will it kill you to say that I love you? Picking up her bag, Qingya walked out of leisure bar, and Yihua followed after her. Before walking out, he even shouted towards the upstairs, "Yutong, come down and do some cleaning." Qing Yutong, who was upstairs, almost wanted to cry. Not only do I have to be the peacemaker, I even have to be the waitress. When brother-in-law is in a bad mood, I even have to offer up my butt. It was still the same Audi A8, Qingya was the driver, and Yihua was the master. After setting the route, Qingya started the car and drove towards a people's hospital. In the car, neither of them spoke. In fact, they were waiting for the other to speak first. However, neither of them spoke, and so they just waited. In actuality, Yihua didn't expect that Qingya would actually love him to the point that she would commit suicide. What a foolish woman, why did she have to pretend to be cold and aloof? Qingya also didn't expect that Yihua would complain in front of her sister. "Aren't you a cold and aloof cultivator? You just like to act cool." Along the way, the two of them arrived at a people's hospital. Qingya had already arranged everything, and all that was left was to wait for the examination. Yihua was naturally going to accompany this foolish woman. Yihua really wanted to tell the others that just now, this fool went to commit suicide because of me, and right now, he still has that cold and arrogant look on his face. This is too amusing. And when Qingya saw that the other women were looking at Yihua as if they were infatuated, she really wanted to tell them, "You all don't need to look at him anymore, this idiot has already fallen in love with me and is unable to extricate himself." Seeing that Qingya was going to get a checkup, Yihua didn't follow her into the hospital. In actuality, he didn't really like this place, the hospital had an unpleasant smell to it. He walked out of the building and strolled around. He was in a good mood. At the side of the people's hospital, there were a lot of elderly people who had set up stalls, and all of them claimed to be half immortals. "This handsome brother, do you want to have your fortune read? Don't go, how about having your fortune read? Your future can also be read too. This little brother, I have top-notch not-falling pills here, I guarantee that you will be able to enjoy yourself every night." Boring humans, to use this kind of method to deceive their own kind, they are really hypocritical. Selling medicine. Selling medicine. All of these are miracle pills that have been blessed, 5 RMB for one pill. Eating one pill guarantees to prolong one's life. If it's ineffective, I will refund you. If you buy 2 pills, you will also get a lollipop pill for free. A bald little monk could be seen shouting madly, and the surrounding half-immortals who had set up stalls immediately revealed a gaze of disdain, but the little monk didn't mind in the slightest. Yihua felt that the little monk was rather interesting. Those pills that were placed on the cloth were emitting out a faint fragrance, and ordinary people naturally wouldn't be able to sense it. "Big sister, quickly come over, there is a cute little monk over there." "Little sister, slow down." The 2 cute little girls ran towards the little monk's stall from behind Yihua, and when the little monk saw the 2 beauties coming to his stall, his small eyes immediately started shining. Yihua walked over slowly. Of course, he wasn't going to the stall, those pills were not enough to enter his eyes, and he was just passing by. After all, there was only one path. However, the little monk who was currently flirting with the 2 girls wrinkled his brows, as he felt an evil aura coming towards him. Raising his head, he looked towards Yihua who was walking over. That faint evil aura was emitted out from this man's body. I didn't expect that I would meet a monster right after coming down from the mountain. My luck is not just ordinary. Slaying monsters is my master's aim, and of course, it is also my aim as well. Let me use my fiery golden eyes to see just what kind of monster you are. The little monk's eyeballs immediately turned golden, and ordinary people naturally wouldn't be able to sense it. F***CK, it is actually a skeleton monster. Good fellow, I just happened to let the lollipop see some blood. Skeletons don't seem to have blood, I wonder if they have bone marrow or not. Yihua felt the little monk's unusual movement, and he became very curious. This little monk actually possesses such a profound technique. How did he obtain it? Let's go back. A familiar voice came from behind, and Yihua turned his head around to take a look. So it turns out that Qinya came over to look for me, and this silly woman still said that she doesn't care. However, right at this moment, the little monk cried out in fear. He didn't even want the medicinal pellets that were on the stall and immediately ran away, as if he had seen a ghost. Yihua originally wanted to ask about the origin of that technique, but since the other person had already run away, he couldn't be bothered to chase after him. Big sister, that little monk is so cute, why did he run away? Who knows, maybe his scam was exposed by us, and he felt embarrassed to continue staying here. Sigh, big sister, let's go. The little monk who was running away even had the heart to cry. The bottom of the mountain is too scary, the top of the mountain is still the safest. Master, when are you coming back? Your disciple has seen a big secret. At the start, the little monk's fiery golden eyes were indeed looking at Yihua, but following Qinya's shout, the little monk's gaze shifted over, and immediately, he was scared witless and immediately ran away. As for what he saw, only the little monk himself knew. Qinya's expression was ice cold. I just finished checking, and this fellow actually disappeared. He kept saying that children are important, but in the end, I don't even know where he went. However, not knowing why, Qinya just felt that Yihua was strolling at the side door. When she went out to take a look, it was indeed as she had expected. We are both cultivators, yet he still came here to have his fortune read so childishly. How was the result? Yihua asked faintly. Normal. Qinya replied faintly. Those who didn't know might even think that the two of them had a grudge against each other. I already said it yesterday night. Qinya didn't say anything, and the two of them returned back to the residence. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.